It actually applies. It applies to my question for you, Branch. My secret question.
Wait, it really is a secret question?
Oh yeah, there's a secret question. I'm excited. I'm excited about these. You guys ready? This is From Maine with Love, an Allagash Brewing podcast where we talk about beer, our community here in Maine, and things that generally make us happy. I normally don't hit community all that well. Community is a hard word to say.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. I'm joined by Jason Perkins, our probably most frequent guest, or at least one of the most frequent guests, our brewmaster here at Allagash. Thank you for being back on the show, Jason.
Pleasure. Hopefully you're not tired of me by now.
I'm not tired. Your episodes are doing well. I think we're doing great. And then our least frequent visitor here on the show is Branch Rothschild.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Thank you for coming. What is your title? I wrote senior brewing manager. Is that right?
Senior technical brewer.
Senior technical. That's why you're here.
I think that's right.
That sounds right.
Speak to technicalities.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk about a really cool milestone that we just hit. And the fun part is, Branch, our very first episode of this podcast featured you and Jason about this exact same topic, but 4 years ago, I think, talking about our Maine-grown grain initiative, buying more Maine-grown grain. Branch's mic cut out after 5 minutes, and he never returned onto the show.
I kept talking the whole time. It just didn't go anywhere.
It went off into the ether.
Brett's got ready to pull the plug on the mic 5 minutes in.
Branch, you have 5 minutes, so really cram it in there. First, as always, this is the first episode of season 5. We've been doing this for 5 years. Amazing.
When do you run the seasons? Is it
yearly?
Do you go into reruns at some point?
We got people still listen to old episodes. That's the beauty of a podcast.
Go into syndication.
Listen whenever. Yeah, we're hoping not to jump the shark like the Simpsons, like get bad after like 5 episodes or 5 seasons. I'm sure there are Simpsons fan. I'm a big fan of early Simpsons.
8 seasons.
8 seasons. Okay, thank you. That's a good number. All right, Branch, your secret question. As a fan of science fiction, I understand you're a fan of science fiction. Would you call yourself a fan of science fiction?
Sure. Yeah.
You like it. We've talked about books, sci-fi books. We've recommended some to each other. Are we living in a simulation?
It doesn't feel like it.
It's a pretty crappy one.
Yeah. I would agree. I'd agree.
Man, now my head's blown.
I'm sorry. I wanted to give that to you. I thought of it and I was like, that's a big one. There's like a whole Isaac Asimov debate series that happens, and one of them one year is this a simulation with like famous theoretical physicists and stuff like that. Pretty interesting listen.
What was the consensus?
I think I only got like halfway through. It was like 2 hours long. I was reading this fast. Jason, yours. What's your favorite downhill ski trail in Maine? Going from the real big to the narrow.
I thought you were going to ask me if birds were real.
That's the second part. Are they real?
Might be a different podcast.
Yeah.
Right. I might have to say the Allagash.
Oh, really?
Which is a trail at Black Mountain.
Oh.
In Rumford.
What level of trail?
I mean, Black Mountain's not a very big mountain, but it's a nice long cruiser.
Is it blue?
It's nice views. I think it is a blue. It might be a black, but blacks at Black Mountain are kind of bluey anyway.
Right.
So
nice.
It seems on brand for me to say Allagash. So that's what I'm going to say.
You're a professional brewer, professional podcaster. Yeah, I'm definitely in the like double blue phase of my life on mountains. Of give me a cruiser, you can just get some speed, but I'm not like going hard.
They're double blues?
Yeah.
It's like twice as blue.
It's somehow not black, but it is especially blue. I feel like it's just probably a pitch thing. Like it's not like moguls and craziness, but you get some good speed on it. Maybe it's more out west. I don't really know. All right. To the fact of the matter at hand, big reveal. In 2025, how many pounds of Maine-grown and processed grain did we brew with? Branch knows.
I can't give you an exact number, but more than 2 million.
I can give you the exact number. It's 2,025,674 pounds. So that's awesome. I learned this thanks to Branch, because I email him every year saying how many Maine-grown grain did we brew with in the past year, and he came back. Everyone kind of had it. Jason, you said 1.9. You thought it was gonna be around 1.9.
I thought we'd be 1.9 and some change.
Yeah.
So not that far off, but I didn't think we'd break the 2 million barrier. So it was a kind of a nice little surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not constantly tallying them up on my board, but I looked and
did it feel like 2 million pounds of Maine-grown grain?
it felt more like 100, maybe 1.97.
Okay. I'm glad you found those extra 0.03. Anyway, all right. So our focus on sourcing more Maine-grown grain started back in 2015. And Jason, am I right? The genesis of this initiative was Amber Lamke, the former director of the Maine Grain Alliance.
Amber was a big part of it.
Okay.
Certainly, and Amber was certainly a big part of connecting us with farmers and getting us rolling down the line. I mean, we had used some degree of local grains, just little one-offs bags here and there.
Yeah.
And we'd used a lot of local fruit over the years. That was very easy, like lots of cherries and raspberries and blueberries, et cetera, for us to access to. But our kind of eyes weren't really open to the possibility of grain at the level that we have gotten to.
Yeah.
Until we started talking to key grain people in the state of Maine, and in a short list of the most important grain people in the state of Maine, Amber is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
She started the Maine Grain Alliance. The Maine Grain Alliance is still an incredible nonprofit organization that we support. There was just this premise of this state has lots of land and lots of institutional knowledge around growing small grains, but we've kind of lost a lot of it just from commercialization of farming at the level for producing flour for baking, but certainly at the level for grain as for brewing as well. So yeah, that's a long answer to your question, but Amber was a big kind of piece of kind of getting us like, oh, wait a minute, there's a lot of more possibility for us to buy our grain here in the state, as long as we meet the right people, get them growing the right things, and so on.
Yeah, it's not like to Branch. You're
I
looking
do
like
remember,
you say something.
was it 15 years ago with Hugh Malone getting the Maine potato growers malt?
Really?
Yeah.
So Hugh Malone is an old Belgian style IPA that we brewed way back in the day.
It was a $7.50 bottle, and it was $1 every bottle to Mafka. So I
Really,
think we wanted to use some local grain in that, but it was a lot harder to source back then. So Maine potato growers, traditionally they grew barley in rotation, and had it malted in Canada. So it actually was grown somewhat locally, but then went international.
Yeah, amazing. So
yeah, there was a period of time where they were isolating the grain that was grown in the state of Maine for malting in Canada, and you could source not malted in the state, and that's a huge part of this project for us. Is we want the whole chain to be in the state of Maine, but we could at least get it at that point. They no longer do that anymore.
Yeah,
but it tells what Branch is getting at is part of the story here that barley has actually been grown by Maine farmers for a long time.
Yep.
More as a rotational crop for potatoes, so not necessarily for brewing.
Yeah.
And so that has come in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and whenever we write it, we normally say Maine-grown just because it sounds nice and it's short, but it's like Maine-grown, processed, and packaged. I feel like we've even added at times to be super specific. Yeah. So, yeah. And like my ulterior motive to a certain extent for this podcast is to kind of go through the background to help other breweries or brewers who are interested in trying to do something like this in their own state. So just to give kind of like the groundwork for like, this is what it kind of took to get there, or at least kind of a playbook to a certain extent, because it's not going to be the same for every state. But I think there was just some really cool stuff that went into it. So the next part, were either of you a part of that first conversation with the Bucks talking about barley, for saying, hey, brewers use barley? Because I read on their website they have a cool little sort of thing that they went through with brewing. But Branch, you're smiling. Do you remember something like that?
I know what you're talking about. We weren't the brewer they were talking to. But,
okay.
I think it was Kai from Sebago Brewing.
Sure.
But so yeah, the way that story goes is, the Buck family third generation farmers, have grown barley off. They're traditional potato farmers, and they'd grown barley off and on as a rotational crop. And there's 4 sons who, were basically through post high school education of whatever kind, and wanted to kind of come back to the farm. Mm-hmm. But the potatoes weren't doing awesome. Like despite it's being a unique place to grow and it's good flavor and all that, there was still some commoditization to it all.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to figure out, like, basically how can we stay on the farm with a value added crop? And the Buck family was pretty used to growing a variety of crops, so they like to take chances and grow different things. And so they were like, "Oh, hops!
Yeah,
let's grow some hops.
Yep.
Beer, we like beer. Let's grow hops." And I'm pretty sure it was Kai, who's a longtime friend of ours, who is one of the owners and founders of Sebago Brewing, who said, "Oh, you don't want to grow hops. Hops are challenging to grow," which is true.
Yeah.
And said, "Well, you should grow barley instead." And the Buck's response was, "We do grow barley. Hold on. Beer's made with barley?" I mean, I don't know if it exactly went down that way. So, but yeah, funny story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that's how the Bucks tell it, but I can't believe they were that naive.
Yeah, it's a good story though.
It is. They know a good story. They know a good. That's what they have on their website.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Buck family, Maine Malt House is their malt house, and we're going to talk more about them. But they're kind of one of the key players in this whole initiative. So I have the numbers here, the history of our pledge, and the numbers that we went through to kind of get there. So the original pledge was in 2015. Rob, Jason, we kind of made, as a leadership team, we made the decision we're going to brew with 1 million pounds of Maine-grown grain by 2021. So we kind of said 2016 is kind of the first year we're kicking off this initiative, because we had been brewing with some Maine-grown grain, like we said, and kind of one-off, and then we had a beer 16 counties that was brewed with all Maine-grown grain or all Maine-grown ingredients. Or was it just grain at the time for just 16
grain.
counties?
All grain. There was a little bit of hops in there, but all grain.
So all grain. And so then it was, okay, how do we start this? So in 2016, we brewed with 65,000 pounds of Maine-grown grain. Do you guys remember what we brewed with in 2017? I have it all here, but I'm kind of interested to see if
27. More.
I would say 175,000.
140. You're close. So then next one, we got 2018, 330. So we kind of doubled pretty much like every single. So 2019, 650,000 pounds. That was a crazy doubling, I feel like, where everyone was like, holy crap, we're like almost there. And then 2020 was a different year. And so we still upped it, though, 728,000 pounds, even given everything during COVID and everything like that. And I feel like that was a real cool moment for us as a brewery to say there was all this change and craziness going on, and we still stuck to this pledge to say we're still going for 1 million pounds by 2021.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in other terms, we lost about 20+% of our volume that year.
Right.
You read some stories about how well beers did in the 2020 year, and that's the case for a few cases, but many did not, and we were one of them. So we lost 20+% of our production and still maintain the commitment to these farmers, because that's I know I may be getting ahead of the game here, but that was like the idea of this pledge was, we're not going to do it next year because we're not ready to, but you're not ready to, farmers, either. And so it was like this staged, like a promise of sorts to them that we were going to continue to grow at a certain rate.
Yeah.
And I was, at the end of that year, I was very proud of this company to be able to, in really hard times for us, still keep our commitment to the farmers that year.
Yeah.
And was it 2020 or 2021 that was the bad crop year for wheat? Like one of them.
I think it was the 20 crop for 21 usage, right?
What I remember.
So that sounds about right. I actually think it is worth getting into that, Jason. The importance of not just working with the farmers to say, like, let's give it a go, but the importance of us putting the line in the sand, saying by this date we're going to use this much. I guess, like, how does that work between us and the farmers? Like, what does that allow them to do by putting a number on the? Because we basically give them a new number every year, kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, could you just walk through kind of how that sort of negotiation or just chat went to figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a back and forth. It depended very much on which the supplier was and their capabilities at the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, in some cases, even if we had said, we're going to get X amount next year. They might not have been able to meet it.
Right.
But there was also a component on our end of making sure that the quality of this stuff was what we needed it to be, and that the flavor match was there for a beer, especially a beer like this. A lot of this grain was going into Allagash White, our flagship, for over 30 years now.
Yeah.
And we needed it to taste the same. So there was a lot of work on our end to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's costs too. Like the local grain is more expensive. I mean, they're smaller farmers. There's not farming at the same scale. So we still had to figure out how to make those finances work. So it was a little bit of both. It was a little bit for them to grow their businesses.
Yeah.
Maybe lease the acreage they need, add storage capabilities for the grain once it comes out of the field.
Right. Silos,
that kind of thing. And then stuff on our end too. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I remember the Bucks proudly showing off their new malting machine because they had been doing floor malting, and then they had made the machine, and we couldn't even take pictures. It was like, oh, you gotta get a close up of grain in someone's hand, but you can't see the whole machine. That was great. They built that. I think
pretty much built it themselves. Yeah. Yep.
It's crazy. All right, we stopped in 2020, 728, 2021. We did it. 1,090,000 pounds. Thank you. Getting the Dr. Evil. Thank you, Jason and Branch. When we hit 2 million, you have to put up 2 pinkies for it.
Yes.
That is a dated reference, but those movies are so old. Do you know when did Austin Powers come out? Do you think?
I think I was in college, so 95.
I was gonna say 1997.
1997. I think 97 might be right.
Sound really old. You say it that way.
I'll look it up
in the
later.
1900s.
Back in the 1900s when we were watching Austin Powers. Yeah, it's old. So 2021 though, but we did it. We hit it on time, on schedule, even a little bit over. And that was awesome. But the next year, we went from 1,090,000. In 2022, we went to 1,500,000. We basically went almost half again. What happened there? Did we just have more capacity? Did people have more capacity? Did something else happen? Or
I think the big thing there was the raw white wheat. We had great success, and at that point, they were able to grow more.
Yeah,
and we're going to use it. Raw wheat is a huge part of white beer, obviously. Yeah. And at that point, we'd established that it worked, and we liked using it. It was more local.
Yeah.
And just went whole hog.
It's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I do also remember taking a trip or two up there, and they would point at a field of white wheat. And that's Allagash's white wheat. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, can we digress for a moment on
please.
The white wheat? I mean, the white wheat's such a great story because, just high level, there's lots of different wheat varieties out there, and it can be winter wheats and summer wheats and red and white and whatever. But we've always historically used a high percentage of unmalted white wheat. So this is raw, also called raw wheat in an Allagash White, and it's a key component of the flavor profile, the appearance, etc.
Mm-hmm.
There was none of that being grown in the state of Maine.
Huh.
There was some red wheat, which is predominantly what's used for baking, but there wasn't any white wheat. And so, as we're talking to the Buck family, they're wanting to know how they can grow more stuff for us and so on. And they catch wind of this white wheat, and they're just kind of okay, we'll try that.
Huh.
And they did a small plot. I don't know, maybe a handful of acres the first year. I think
they said it was going to be a few, but then they got more seed than they thought they were going to get, and it was 40 acres or something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then, to some degree, you can't do something real small as a farmer. You gotta plant a decent amount at once. So they kind of went for it and did some trials back and forth with them. It worked for us, and then they grew and they grew, and we went from buying a small portion of it, and now, was it 2 years ago we started?
That's right.
100% of our unmalted raw white wheat is from Maine.
Wow.
And 100% of our oats are now from Maine as well.
Yeah.
That came around the same time. But it's just a cool story of this is many reasons why we like to do this.
Yeah.
But one of them is just that one-on-one relationship you have with the farmers where
totally.
In the end, it's a win-win for both. Like they're growing more stuff. They're growing what we need in the state of Maine.
Yep.
Et cetera.
And it's also just much closer. Like transportation costs are so much less.
Yep.
When I mess up my orders and forget to order it in time, like
they can help us out.
It's not driving. The driver doesn't have to take 2 days to get here.
Yeah. That's good to know. That's good to know that other people
Not that
mess
that would
up
ever
than just me.
No, that never happened.
No, why would it happen? That's actually something I'd love to get into is like let's talk about the farms and what we get from each farm. We've got Maine Malt House, which we've talked about. It's up in Mapleton, Maine. What are we? So we're getting white wheat from them, and anything else?
We get some oats.
Okay.
Rolled oats.
Yep.
And we get a lot of corn from them for surfhouse.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's taken some experimenting, but yeah, we're getting that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of pale malt from them also.
Okay. What do we use? Do we use any pale malt in not in Allagash White, but in other, or do we?
It's in white. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pale malt is like could also just be called base malt.
Okay,
it's what they Mapleton Pale they call it.
Okay, yeah,
Mapleton's the town they're in. So it's basically their base malt, one of their base malts.
I think that's basically it. We've gotten a little bit of malted wheat from them.
Okay,
here and there.
Right, tried some different stuff over time. Okay, then we have Aurora Mills and Farm in Linneus, Maine. They're also a really cool farm. Second generation farm, all organic, to my understanding. Yep. And what are we getting from them?
Oats predominantly. I mean, we get a lot of oats. The majority of our oats come from them.
That's right.
And that's like our consistent every year. But we've gotten some other stuff from them in the past.
Spelt, we're getting
spelt,
buckwheat.
Buckwheat.
What do we use spelt in?
Copain.
That's right. Okay, that's one of our base beers for our sour, some of our sour beers. Okay.
Yeah, but like you said, they're just second generation. The dad is retired, but still there every day.
Yeah.
Just really small family, doing some really great stuff, growing some beautiful oats.
We're gonna get into each farm a little bit more in a slightly more detail in the next question. So I will.
And they are all organic. I mean, they're trying to be all organic. It's some of their stuff we actually get is transitional because if they do get more land and want to make it organic, that's not an immediate process. So at some point, they have to grow it organically for a period of time. I think 3 years.
Oh, right. There's that stringent.
If the land wasn't used for organic before, which is typically the case.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to find organic land in Maine, probably everywhere.
I'm sure. Yeah. All right. And last, I believe, Blue Ox Malt House in Lisbon Falls, Maine, which they are a malt house. So they're not actually growing what they have. But I looked it up and they get their ingredients or the raw sort of grains from Porter Farms, Aurora Mills. So sends some stuff to Blue Ox, Marquee Farms in Van Buren, Maine, and Wood Prairie Farm in Bridgewater, Maine. But yeah, Blue Ox, do we get a variety? They seem to have a pretty solid variety of different types of stuff too, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of their pale malt, and then basically all the Pilsner malt that we use of late is theirs, the Yankee Pils.
Oh, really?
Key part of Allagash Lager.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Nice.
And we do get some specialty stuff, but more for one-off beers.
Right. So what I was alluding to, Jason, when I didn't want to be like mean about it, like don't talk about these farms, but what I was alluding to is like these are not just suppliers, like these are people that we work with, like people that we've developed relationships with that are really just like satisfying, gratifying, awesome people to work with. And so I wanted to ask both of you, is there a particular thing you enjoy about each place? Like, and I'm thinking of, for me personally, it's like Maine Malt House with that family. It's like Grandma Buck's jokes. Grandma Buck, amazing character, tells some off-color jokes at dinner, has a whole shtick.
You got to get her on the podcast.
Good, actually.
That would be an E podcast, the explicit. Is there, I mean, for each person, I feel like everyone has something when you go visit them. It's something cool that they're doing.
Well, at Aurora, I got stung by bees.
Oh, that's right. But that's actually a really funny story. It's a really funny story because they were so kind to give us these 2 ginormous jars of honey, 3 maybe even.
Wow.
Because Rye got one too, right?
Oh yeah.
And this beautiful honey. And I'm talking like, I don't know how big, like 32-ounce jars maybe.
Yeah, it's a big part of the organic growing process is to have
pollinators.
Pollinators.
Yeah.
And then we had the jars and we went out into the field near the buckwheat, and because it's buckwheat honey.
Yeah.
And the hives were right there, and we thought it would be a funny Raya, of course, thought it'd be a funny picture to take a picture of branch. Because the buckwheat's beautiful when it's blooming, like white flowers, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Standing in front of the buckwheat flowers with 2 jars of honey in his arms, right next to the bees. Well, the bees apparently were like, "What the hell, man? That's our honey!" And they saw him with the honey, and they came in hot.
Yeah, I was really hamming it up, but I wasn't trying to antagonize them. I thought bees, if you don't mess with them, they don't mess with you.
You were doing the
lesson. Don't like flaunt your honey in front of the honeybees.
You're doing the inadvertent bee dance, just the real antagonistic bee wiggle. How many times did you get stung?
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
In the back
that
of the
stinks.
We got it on camera too. That's the great part.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man,
There's like a series of photos of like smile to like painful face. It's pretty good.
I'll make that into a little carousel on the blog about this.
Yeah,
so you get to see that. I was thinking more that they bake bagels every time you go to Aurora.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yes, they've got a little mini brick oven like right in there, like kind of in their living room. You've seen it.
Oh yeah.
And that's become the part of that tradition is visiting them, and they have freshly baked bagels with their flour.
Yeah. Because they're a mill as well as
that's right.
Farm.
Yeah, that mill. The mill where it's like, what was it? Rolling the oats. That was such a because it's like you hear rolled oats and you're like, sure, okay, whatever. But it's like, no, it's like 2 giant rollers that just squeeze this thing. Yeah, it's smush it into a rolled oat. It's cool.
Yeah.
Just the fact like all the cleaning equipment's this old wooden equipment.
It really is. If you go on their website, you'll see it. It's like legit wooden contraptions.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which is what Maine-grown does also. Turns out wood's a pretty great thing for that. Like fewer explosions, less static.
Is that why?
I think that's part of it.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah, Maine-grown. Maine-grown meaning like the Skowhegan prison Maine-grown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a cool place too.
Very cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't buy as much from them anymore, but we did buy some from them for a while. They're really geared mostly for bakers.
Yeah.
But incredible place. I actually just had dinner at the Miller's table on Saturday night.
How was it?
Delicious. Pizza there is incredible.
Where is
It's
that
in the low level, first floor of the jail, former jail.
Last night?
Still a jail. Saturday night.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that's a long drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they were moving more towards bakers.
Yeah.
But then when the pandemic hit and everybody started baking, it was like,
oh yeah. We should do more of this.
Yeah.
And then for Blue Ox, funny. There's so many connections there of our former brewer of Surf House, aforementioned Surf House. Joe works there now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, I guess to high level it, like these folks are all just like our friends. Like, yes, there are suppliers, to put it in a formal term, but they're just like, they're all good friends of ours, every single one of them. And that's just a part of doing business with them, is getting to spend time with them. And we just yesterday, last minute, sent a crew, our packaging team, to Blue Ox for a tour. Long story,
Right.
For another podcast, we have a big mechanical problem at the brewery, and so we had to we haven't been able to package for the last few days. And so I just called Ian up at Blue Ox and said, hey, I know this is super short notice, but what do you think? No problem. So we sent a crew up there. They gave an awesome tour.
They put them to work, turning the beds.
What's that?
Did they put them to work?
Yeah, it sounds like at least Nolan did some raking.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally hold a rake behind you and walk through this grain that is in the process of kind of budding. Would that be correct? And then you are turning it over.
Well, and they have a fancy mechanical one now, like a machine.
Oh.
But I don't think they let the guests use that.
Use the fancy machine? That makes sense.
Yeah, I think the other thing with Blue Ox is, and this is the case with all of them, but Blue Ox, there's this level of passion for the grain industry at that company that comes right from Joel, the founder. He started Blue Ox because he saw a need, but like an opportunity, I guess.
Yeah.
but he also saw like a gap in the supply chain in the state of Maine, and he's very mission driven business to open, and that trickles right down to to Ian, to Joe, to all the rest of the staff there. Like, if you start a conversation about grain with him, you better have some time.
Do you know my Joel fun fact, right? About me?
I don't remember.
You go to college?
I went to college with Joel. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we were like tertiary friends. I knew Joel well. I did improv actually with his like roommate. So we knew each other.
Well, I thought you were going to say Joel did improv. That's it. That I'd like to say.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think he did. He maybe they did serious practice improv. But yeah.
I've noticed you've been doing a lot of yes anding.
Oh yeah, you think so? That it has come in handy. All right. So this actually applies to you, Brand. We mentioned kind of like high level, we had to integrate this grain into existing beer recipes. Like a beer like Allagash White tastes a certain way, has won awards on how it tastes. Like we need to make sure this ingredient fits. So like, what did that process kind of look like on our end?
I think probably the first place to start is just like knowing our beer really well.
Yeah.
Like getting our sensory program dialed in, which Carl is like killed.
Yep.
And then once we do that, we can really start evaluating like what changes, like, is this perceptible to our trained staff? Like, but mostly we started off with small changes, like did a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it isn't perceptible, if we're meeting all our specs, we can start playing around with doing more. That's kind of where we're at now. But in the past, we did also have some beers that like very specifically were more focused entirely on like 16 counties basically, where it was all local. When we're not making that anymore, but I think that was kind of an approach early on. But once the volume got big enough, 1 million pounds, you're not going to make it with these beers that are not brewed every day.
Right.
So it had to be in white.
Yeah. So when did we start adding it to white? Do you remember the year?
I think right from the beginning, but in very small amounts.
Right. Just kind of a little trickle in there versus then being a significant.
Maybe it might not have been very 2016 or not. We were making a lot of 16 counties in 2016, so
yeah,
we were using a lot there.
Right. Yeah.
But it was like literally a bag at a time.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Which a bag might sound like a lot, but in our system, it's not a lot.
Well, it's like we have super sacks is like the larger, and then we're getting like a silo that has our base malt in and stuff like that. So yeah, different scales. So at this point, do all of our beers use Maine-grown grain?
Trying to think of an exception.
That's a good way to put it. Trying to think of an exception.
Yeah, so it would have to be like something that came, like everything comes to the pilot program, but something that came to the pilot program that was very specific to use. I'm guessing it would probably be a case where it's like all Belgian Pilsner or something like that. We haven't done that in a while.
No, we haven't.
Interlude. Is it interlude today?
We are interlude today.
Interlude
but that's, we switched that over to Luwak Yankee Pills.
Nice. Look at that.
Yeah, there you go.
An interlude. The hallowed interlude. That's awesome.
There's got to be something, but I don't know what it is.
I'll take that to be the fact that it is very hard to find the exception.
In hop water.
Or
cider.
Okay. All right. Well, there are Maine apples and cider.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's okay. And that actually, so I think it is worth touching upon because I feel like the natural next question is like, okay, why can't you get like every ingredient from Maine? So we kind of touched on hops. It's just hard to grow hops in Maine. Like there are some people doing it, right? Are there still people doing it?
There's not many.
Right. Like it's
more very, very small amounts. It's
Rustic still is?
I think they still are. We haven't connected them with a while, but I think Hopyard is maybe done. Hopyard?
I think Hopyard is done. Yeah. Alna.
Yeah, it's that could be its own podcast, but growing hops is very challenging in this climate.
Yeah.
Like it's just not a climate that's set up for it where it's just too much moisture is the short. Like humidity and whatnot is probably the biggest problem.
I thought it would be the cold.
Mildew and whatnot.
Huh.
I mean, the cold doesn't help either, but actually hops don't like extreme heat either. But it's really the mildew risk is probably the biggest challenge.
Okay.
But there's also on top of that harvesting, picking, and processing hops is very like mechanically intensive or incredibly labor intensive. And so there's just not a lot of infrastructure for it. And so some of these small growers have tried to make it work, but it's tough. And so, most of the hops in the US are grown in the Pacific Northwest, where there's just lots of infrastructure and shared equipment and so on. And, and it's not centuries, but generations of growers out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and a frequent guest on this podcast as well, Patrick Chavanel, is on the hop quality group of the Brewers Association. Is that what?
No,
it is?
the hop quality
group.
It's its own. It's an independent nonprofit. I mean,
Gotcha.
it certainly interacts with the Brewers Association a bunch, but it is its own nonprofit.
Yeah, so we definitely
he's on the board.
Love those hops, and I've been. I mean, do you guys go out there like every year, or at least someone from
almost every year? Yeah, almost every year we go out there for hop selection. Yeah,
that's cool. And then we mentioned fruit. Like, I guess where are we? We've gotten some really interesting fruits over the years, but I guess what are the kind of majority fruits that we get from Maine?
Cherries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that's
peaches,
easy.
Peaches in there too.
Apples.
Honeyberries.
And of course apples. I kind of think about apples differently because that's strictly for cider, but
yeah.
The other fruits I mentioned were all for some of our wilder sour funky beers.
Right. Are the apples coming from like larger orchards, or is it like, because I feel like a lot of the ones we've gotten are like heritage apples, and I just don't know where those are coming from. Are they?
They're all small orchards.
Okay.
I mean, there aren't really any big or quote unquote big orchards in Maine.
Right.
On the scale of Maine big ones, we still get some from them, but the small, like old school apples are coming from small places typically.
Right. I'm just thinking, there's like, if you look at these apples, it's like Wine Sap or like Northern Spy or like
Ashmead's Kernel.
Ashmead's Kernel. Oh, such good names. Honey Eye, that's spelled all crazy, like EOIYE or something.
The Sophus Spitzenberg.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is that an apple?
Tom Jefferson's favorite apple.
Really? Is that shaped like a star?
You might want to double check
your pronunciation.
My pronunciation and my accuracy.
I'll just AI it. So okay, so there's still a lot coming from Maine, and so I think as a kind of wrapper to a certain extent of all this is like, Branch, you even kind of mentioned it, like of some of the benefits, but I guess like this program has been so cool because of the number of different benefits it has provided both us and other breweries. So I think like, I put it to you, what do you feel like beyond us just being able to use more local grain, and like what do you see as some of the benefits of that program? I have some other ones here, but I don't think.
Well, this is kind of selfish of me, but I got to hang out with them. I got to hang out with Joe in the box, and Sarah and Marcus, and that's great.
Yeah, it's good.
But on a more practical level, like the fact that we can reach out to the people growing our grain directly and like find out what's going on and communicate back and forth. We know what to expect, what challenges they're facing, how we can help, and it just feels a lot more collaborative than it does which isn't to say like our other suppliers aren't good, but we have a lot more of a personal connection with them.
Totally.
And I feel like they're invested in us doing well and vice versa.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of those. And like just having the, again, selfishly, like having the opportunity to spend time with them and see over the last, 10 plus years we've been doing this, to see the growth at the farm, to see these, in some cases, families growing, like little kids coming along, and them even to some degree getting involved to some degree is like just so rewarding to watch them grow over time.
The lights just went out.
We just
you can't hear that. It literally just going totally dark.
What is it? Is that the end of our podcast?
It's not the end. I've got one more question. I just need to.
You're not gonna be able to read it.
Light it by candlelight. I'll go by these bright lights here. Oh, I can read that.
Is it motion light? Do we need to like get up and dance around?
It is normally motion light, but I think it might be on a timer. At a certain time, it just like shuts off.
It's like the whistle blowing at the factory. Time to go home.
I think this is your fault, Branch. I think you have mentioned that sometimes you've walked by our office and the light will still be on after everyone's gone. So we might have like hardwired it to turn off.
I guess, I'm not a father, but I have a little bit of that in me. Turn the light off and you leave a room.
I have that in me too. That's okay. I'm going to read this by Gonnet. So the other thing that I guess I was thinking of is like other brewers are using this grain. This isn't just us. Like there are other brewers and they're using a lot of this
For
grain.
sure. Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
millions of pounds at
Definitely.
single other breweries. So that has been really, really cool. For my, like, I love a good sustainability point. So it's like, you know, shipping lower carbon footprint. It's just great that we can ship these things from such a shorter distance to us. So that's always awesome. The cost one, wasn't there a time, or maybe is there a time right now where the cost is now actually getting competitive for some of these?
For some of the grains, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get, especially when you're dealing with the unmalted grains, they're farming at certainly not the scale that the big commercialized farmer, but they're farming at a decent scale. They've got similar combine type equipment. So it's a little bit more economies of scale for them there. It's the malting that's small batch that gets a little bit more challenging. So yeah, with some of the raw grains, the prices have gotten competitive. There's also, I mean, you think about like some of the global pressures that are on supply chain.
Yeah.
Ukraine war, for example, that was a big thing. Still a big thing. I specifically mean a big thing in grain.
Yeah.
When it first started, because it's a huge producer of grain. I may be overgeneralizing here, but the Maine grain economy was kind of sheltered from that.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the global pressures on the global supply chain that can happen for every other supplier didn't affect there. So that kind of helped close the gap, I think, a little bit over on the gap between the local barley prices versus non-local.
That's awesome.
So yes.
Yeah. And I think like these grains are going outside of Maine too. Like there's New England brewers, distillers, Vermont. Like there's definitely some people in Massachusetts using these grains. So it's like, it's cool because it's like a local economy thing. It's not just a Maine thing. It's actually spreading out. So that's really cool.
And I'd even expand that to say, like, I think not necessarily directly because of us, but like because of the success of Maine Malthouse and Blue Ox in the state of Maine, I think it has, whether directly or indirectly, created other systems like that in other parts of the U.S. Like, you know, I think when Maine Malthouse and Blue Ox opened, you might know this better than me, Branch, but there were a handful of craft maltsters in the U.S. There's certainly more now than there was 10 years ago. And, you know, I think they feed off each other, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, that works up there. And it can work. Similar markets can work elsewhere. We just did a collaboration brew with The Seed, which is a small brewery in New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was really fun for a lot of reasons to brew with them, but all the grain came from New Jersey-based, very similar. It's Rabbit Hill, right?
Yeah, Rabbit Hill.
Rabbit Hill. Very, very similar, like second generation brother, sister who were farmers who put in a malt house, like very similar story as the Maine Malthouse, and The Seed exclusively used their grain. So that's just an example. I think there's examples all across the country of that. And I think the more success that you can see in one area, it's just going to be like, oh, maybe I can pull that off in my area too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I went to some of these meetings early on. New York had a farmer brewer bill where they were trying to seed it by New York State by saying if you used a certain amount from within the state, then there are tax benefits. So there are a lot of malt houses going up around that time.
Do we have anything like that here in Maine? Any tax benefits?
We don't, but I think it would be a good thing to have.
That'd be nice to have.
Call your congressperson.
Call your representative. And last, what's next? We just continuing what we're doing? Do we have any thoughts or plans? Like, I think it seems like what we're doing is great and it's been working so far, but do we have any thoughts on what?
I mean, keep doing what we're doing, honestly. Like, that is kind of the funny thing in a way of like, we had a plan for 1 million pounds. Yeah. A very clear plan. And, you know, Branch is a lot of credit for like planning out how we were going to each year grow a certain amount. We had a basic idea of our growth every year when we started it. 2016, we had a roughly plus or minus a certain amount. And 17 we do this, 18 we do this, 19 we do this. We got to 1 million. We were like, now what do we do? And we came up with no plan, no formal plan whatsoever.
Just do it.
And somehow we did it again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not somehow. It's these relationships with these farmers. They're better with their growing. They're getting better with their systems. Yeah. We just found opportunities. So I think probably the plan for the next 5 years is the same.
Yeah.
Of just continuing to find way to incorporate more and more of these local grains in our beer.
It's awesome.
I think another way forward that hopefully we do more of is like looking at some of these specialty products that they're making, and hopefully like inspiring new and innovative pilot beers like that really express like these interesting flavors that they're creating.
That's a good one. Agreed. All of the producers, but I guess I would say especially Blue Ox is really doing a lot of really fun stuff with different roasts and different kilning levels and so on, and coming out with some very kind of unique to them grain types. And I think there's some really nice flavors to play around with there.
Awesome.
I think that's one of their advantages of having that small, like they are relatively small and floor malted. So like the stakes of trying something like that are, you don't have to do it 16,000 pounds at a time or whatever it is.
That is a benefit. Yeah, a little more nimble. Awesome. Well, we're still in the dark. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Branch, for being here. This is awesome. This is I feel like this is everything I was hoping for. So thanks for coming and making the time.
Thank you.
I wish I'd come up with a surprise question for you.
Oh, I don't need that. Yeah, Liz wasn't able to join us here today. It's just, schedules didn't align. We had to make it. So kudos to Liz.
I'm glad you made it the whole time this time.
Well, we haven't listened to the recording yet.
Yeah.
My mic might have been off the whole time.
I muted Branch really early on, so just to cut him off.